Welcome, SASANS, to this week's episode of SASANS and Dragons, our homebrew house rule infested game of 5th edition, Dungeons and Dragons. I am Magnus Beasticus, your dungeon master for the evening, and we have a new pixelated design to our SASANS and Dragons campaign. Luna here, with the beast, has designed much of the logo and the frame, and we have used Reroll, a newly funded Kickstarter campaign, to bring our characters to life in a pixelated fashion. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's roll the character introductions.
I'm Thunky Beerbot. And don't let my facial hair fool you. I am a female mountain dwarf druid. I come from a long line of beer brewers, hence the name Beerbot. I had a mostly normal upbringing in the mountains of northern Melibrius, and I've always had an affinity towards animals, not so much the ruling races. I have many fond childhood memories of wandering the local forests in search of new furry friends. Eventually, on the advice of my parents, I enrolled in druidic studies and began honing my spellcasting abilities. My instructor, Elder Dalbrook, was a highly logical man and taught me my most important life lesson, that even though nature is beautiful, it cannot exist without chaos. There isn't a day that goes by that I do not repeat that message to myself. I understand that not all beasts can be tamed, and sometimes I will have to battle one. I don't like to admit it, but this happens more often with my new family, Orin's Obliterate. But I will stop at nothing to ensure their safety, and I may cause some chaos in the process.
If you were to gaze upon the mysterious property of Orenbel's finest artificer, you would find a very large mansion met by a garden with superbly sculpted shrubbery. At any given time, there is but only one worker which may be found on these grounds, and why that is me, Crow. I am one of Master Cumentus's many creations. The majority of my being is made up of organic, plant-like material. The rest is mechanical. There are many duties for which I was created for, some of which include cooking, cleaning, obtaining materials and ingredients, assisting with laboratory duties, removing trespassers from the property, acting as the master's personal bodyguard when in town, and closest friend, always. These may be some of my regular duties, though Master Cumentus mentioned that I am fully loaded with great purpose and grand potential. I have yet to discover the meaning behind those words. Maybe he was referencing the inaccessible areas of my internal systems, or maybe he was just trying to make me feel better about my self-realized lack of greater purpose in this world. Or maybe it is a metaphor for the many journeys he planned for us. Either way, I seek to discover the true potential of my being.
Hello, I am Var'Kir Invictari. I am an Aasimar of the clan Invictari at Barathor's Reach. To explain more about myself, I must first explain the world we live in, full of angels and monsters that toy with mortal lives like cheap coins. I sought out to rid us of the need to constantly appease these beings of considerable power. Even if all the world is my enemy, they will thank me when the work is done, for I believe in the strength of my fellow mortal. We have turned the tides of battle with nothing but one act that has spiraled out to a glory that is yet to be rivaled in this day and age. Kalanor, my right hand, my sword and shield. Otero, my left, my bow. All the others were dear to me, just as my mother and father. The angel that speaks to me in my dreams warns me of the dangers of what I do. But I know my path is virtuous, though I cannot say the same for the company I now find myself with. They may represent the truest of dangers, or the brightest of futures. Time will tell.
My name is Hercheck Bane. I am from the clan the Frenzied Bear, whose home is at the northeastern part of the Shattered Peaks. Growing up, I was split between two tribes, fighting over the land we both tried to call our own. My tribe's battle mentality was of pure carnage during warring, praising an unknown entity that I personally detested. My father, Bane, was fourth in line to be chieftain, known in the tribe to be a fierce warrior on the battlefield, and to have saved many lives in combat over the ages. He has but one mighty secret, which is where I come in. Born from a forbidden love with a mighty warrior woman from the clan the Red Tempest, my tribe's rivals. My mother, Var'Kir Stormwill, the Red Tempest. She was a brutal warrior on the battlefield and a kind priestess to those in need. Her deity, Ragensha, as a weapon as well as her shield, is the goddess I now follow. After years of secrecy, I could no longer hold back my rage. During a battle with a fellow clansman, I unleashed my storm-bound fury. Luckily, through the deeds of my father and the tribe, I was not sentenced to death on the spot. I was, though, cast out from my clan, exiled, never to return or show my face around them. My title in the clan removed from me. One day I will return to my homeland and take over my clan to show them that there can be peace amongst all tribes. Unity is what I seek for the Goliath race, and I will achieve that goal, even if it takes my life.
When last we left our heroes of Orin's Obliterate, they had been planning to infiltrate the second of 3 Denebraun camps, kept safe from the floating forest's ever-present nodding fog by a light source that pushes the fog from within its reach and burns the native creatures of the floating forest as though the sun itself was present. In the shape of a hulking bat-formed Unagoth, Thunky made an attempt to destroy the light source in the center of the camp to make it vulnerable to the outside elements, but failed, realizing that it had been reinforced since and possibly due to their previous encounters with the copper-clad soldiers of the Denebraun Army. We pick up here. The camp, now in high alert, is guarded by a 40-foot-high wall of flames, preventing Orin's Obliterate's ground members from entering. Thunky, the sole member inside, has taken enough damage to drop form and now plummets towards the center of the camp. Hercheck stands guard over Crow's immobile body as he blows on the brood flute to control 2 Unagoths inside of the camp. Var'Kir ponders solutions in front of the barrier of flame. Things are heating up for our heroes. What will happen next? Find out on this sad venture. Okay.
I didn't send it. Blaze sent it.
We should do the Dragon Ball Z thing where we just name the
Why you
episode what happens in the
sending
episode.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, kind of, we do. All right, so I'm going to review this map for those of you just joining us here right now. This is the Denebraun, otherwise known as the Copper-Clad Soldiers' second camp. It's primarily based out of 2 different levels. This is a tent. Everything inside is obscured. Another tent over there where everything is less obscured because I actually drew everything and am covering it up with that piece of paper. You will see 4 ballistas on higher levels. This is ballista number 1, ballista number 2, ballista number 3, and ballista number 4 hovering above an area filled with cages, currently having no residents inside. There are 2 sort of foreign structures with sort of darkly cloaked members, small copper accoutrements on them, in what seems like a state of meditation, and a pit descending below them into blackness. Thunky was falling with an Unagoth on approach to do whatever Crow decides to, and a second Unagoth is circling around the camp, also controlled by Crow. We pick up now, it being Crow's turn, as he is all of his attention and mind and concentration is focused on controlling these two primal, giant bat-like creatures. What do you wish to do?
With Unigoth closest to Thunky, I'm gonna try to grab her in midair. Match her speed with the little talons, latch onto her shoulders.
Okay.
Put in one of those friendly, not painful waves.
Okay, roll a dexterity. Actually, Thunky, would you mind bringing up the Unigoth's stats for Crow to use?
Yeah.
Roll a dexterity check to try and be able to grab Thunky. They're powerful enough creatures where strength is not a problem, and if you roll high enough, it will be considered a bonus
23.
action. Bonus action. As just casually, it's almost as though Thunky's form like disappears under the wings of the Unigoth as it circles around top of the camp, about, I would say, 40 feet high, similar to the height of the Wall of Flames. So that's one bonus action for an Unigoth. What do you want to do with it?
I'd like to grab Thunky and then do a little pirouette McTwist.
Pirouette McTwist.
Towards this guy right here with the ballista, and do a tail swipe at the person manning it.
The person, okay. Go ahead and roll to attack.
Battering tail.
Battering tail. $25.
Wow, hits. On a roll. Yarr.
Oh wait.
2d12 plus 4.
Oh. 2d12. 24.
24 points of you rolled two 12s?
Yeah, I rolled an 11 and a 9, and plus 4.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay. 24 points of damage.
Yes.
Roll a strength check. As this giant tail picks up some of the dust at the base of the camp with its force, slams into the shoulder, spike impaling. What'd you roll?
22.
22. Okay. You actually bat
What's
him
going
off
on?
of this, off of the handle of the ballista as he's trying to aim frantically towards the Unigoth. Hit him off on the side, and he's just sort of like you hit him like 15, 20 feet away, just sliding. He still manages to be on the second level of the camp. Next to it, but he's like his entire right arm is completely mangled, like inusable.
He's disabled.
I have to say.
I would say that Unigoth and Thunky would actually that would be 60 feet, which is the Unigoth's movement. I would say that's about where they would end, which is right above the second platform, Thunky in hand. A little far from the, separated from the ballista, the now vacant ballista.
With the other Unigoth, I would like to try and do something similar. Like, no, I'll just go straight for head towards. Yeah, I'll say Hercheck and myself. Out in the field over here.
You'd be able to just make it to you guys with a bonus action of picking them up. We'll actually roll a strength check just to see if it's bonus action enough. And this is 2 people, so it's going to be a bit higher. Otherwise, it'll be a full action, and you'll end the Unigoth's turn there.
Oh, sorry.
18.
Oh, okay.
I'll say 18 isn't high enough to pick up 2 people as a bonus action. The Unagoth still has a bonus action left, but otherwise it sort of like picks Crow up easily enough and sort of like curls it underneath its curls the clawed talon up and sort of like underestimates the weight of Hercheck and all of the weapons around Hercheck and sort of like has to bat its wings one more time to get enough lift to pick both of you up. But the Unagoth now has both of you in hand and has a bonus action left if the Unagoth can do anything with its bonus action. You still have the mind of Crow, so you can do like a perception check. You might maybe try to communicate, or...
I mean, I guess it says I can screech, so I'd like... Oh wait, that's an actual attack.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a non-damaging screech, just almost like... to ward off bears, you make a lot of noise. If there's anything in the area, I'd like to try and scare the shit out of it with just like a gah, or however they sound.
Okay, go ahead and roll performance on the Unagoth's performance. This is like how effective you can.
So +1.
Yeah.
Okay. Hercheck, as you see this Unagoth swoop down, grab both you and Crow with this sort of like this the face almost reconstructed or in the emotional state of Crow that you're used to coming down. You start to hear the skittering and the prancing of sharpened talons on the sort of like small dense rock ground of the floating forest coming into the periphery of the camp, and you hear some of them like back away. Some of them just sort of like keep their distance after the cry is emanating from the Unagoth. Okay, Thunky, you are up soon. But what's the Unagoth's armor class?
$14. Thick hide.
Okay.
Thick.
Thunky, you notice a almost like leap out of the shadows, this spinning, sharpened object fly towards the Unagoth, and you just sort of like are able to bat it out of the way with the teardrop staff as it's reformed in your hand. You notice saving both you and the Unagoth from wherever it came from. Next up, you, Thunky.
I would like to cast Moonbeam on the light pole in the center of the camp.
Okay, it'll take full damage because it doesn't have any. It's an inanimate object.
Good.
So.
I'm casting it at a 4th level.
Var'Kir, out of your comrades, you're up next. So start thinking about what you want to do.
16.
Points of damage?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, respectable.
This is 40-10. Oops. Right? There's nothing else.
The visibility of this pole, the image of this pole disappears into this. How high does the moonbeam shoot up?
40 foot high.
Oh, okay. Meeting the top of the flames. This continual sort of like pulse of shooting energy. It's almost as though like you can almost see this the mass of the energy stops at 40 feet, but you can still see these like tendrils of light. Thank you. Ascending out and disappearing into the fog. Okay, so this the closest ballista to the where Var'Kir is located at sort of like the front entrance of the camp is going to go ahead and fire at the Unagoth. Misses. This like flame wreathed giant pole of just javelin shoots forth and exits out of the just. You see it light a flame through the opposite side of the firewall. As that's turn. The next one over here. This guy also fires at the Unagoth. And you actually hear one of the sort of like heavily armored, like plate armored paladin, like adjacent that you've encountered before. You actually yell, essentially like, "These creatures are being controlled! Something is amiss here, and they have a practitioner outside. Someone who controls water. Keep those ballistas on the Unagoths."
What are you rolling a natural 20 for investigation?
It's in like 2 Unagoths came in. One literally just came in and left.
They don't know. They're metagaming.
And they've been in this forest for a long time. And he says, "Willand, switch to harpoons!" And he points to this guy right here. And then he goes, "Galleon, keep the nets. Brinshaw, keep your eyes on the wall." Okay, so he's going to shoot just a flaming harpoon at the Unagoth.
I don't control you.
This one. 19 points of piercing damage to the Unagoth that you're controlling.
The Thunky's in?
Yes, the Thunky's in. And, wow, that... Come on, Pax Dice. And 5 points of fire damage. Flame damage. As it, like, pierces all the way through the wing and continues going forward, but flames start curling and propagating onto the wing from the entry point, from the circle. Next up is the mage. It's going to get up. Actually, that's not a catwalk.
Yeah, the catwalk.
Shit, he's gonna make a dexterity.
He's gonna do a little turn on the catwalk.
He falls.
Wow.
As like he's like he's like his shoulder was leaning off the edge. He's just on like maybe like a foot wide piece of stone wall. And as the Unagoth is up close and all of these different attacks are assailing it, and the Unagoth is crying and Thunky is looking Thunky-ish. He's like scrambling to his feet and trying to get, but his foot slips and he is going to take some damage as he hits his shoulder here. His ruined arm slides down on the opposite side or on the outside of the wall. 15 feet. He's going to run away, and he's just going to, you start to see sort of like curling swirls of red energy swirl around his left arm and combine into the center of his hand, and he starts muttering these like guttural words and shoots out a fireball. Roll dexterity saving throw for the Unagoth, and if the Unagoth beats it, then Funky will not take full damage, and neither will the Unigoth.
21.
Okay, half damage. That's more like it. 11 points of fire damage. That sucks.
Aw, thanks.
11 points of fire damage. He's done.
Does that go towards the Unigoth and me, or just the Unigoth?
The Unigoth and you. It's a 30-foot radius. And then the last ballista is going to...
Does the ballista get messed up as well? It's definitely within 30 feet.
Yeah. We'll roll a Constitution saving throw for the ballista.
The strings melt.
It gets pushed to the side, shifted, and turned over, but otherwise it's like it's mostly structurally intact, with some cinders. Actually, we'll say this ballista is made out of like pieces of wood is the main structure, but like bounded in copper, and so it's pretty robust. It's hardy. And the last ballista on the right side is going to actually, well, for me. On the left side is going to shoot a net at the Unigoth as well. Roll a dexterity saving throw. Thunky, roll a concentration check.
Sorry.
7.
Your saving throws are here. Just...
That was dexterity.
Oh, never mind. Concentration.
Mm-hmm. You have to roll higher than a 5. Otherwise, you lose Moonbeam.
What is a concentration check?
It's concentration. Check obscures, light skills, dexterity.
That's good.
Max, do you remember what concentration checks are? I feel like I'm missing something very simple here.
Should be Constitution.
Is it? Let me see.
Yeah, Constitution saving throw, pretty much.
7.
Yeah, you made it. You just beat. Jeez.
If only it was intelligence.
What'd you get?
7.
Ooh, just close enough as the net sort of like
What?
twirls around you.
Well, that's good.
But
Wait,
so
what?
a
I
concentration check. This is when you took the fire damage from the fireball.
Yeah.
It's literally to maintain like the mental link between you and your spell, and you have to roll half the damage above half the damage that you were dealt. So you were dealt 11 damage. So I just made it 5. You rolled a 7.
Oh, I see.
And so you maintain your concentration as the net swirls around the Unigoth, capturing both of you from right here. Ooh. A harpoon wouldn't necessarily push an Unigoth so far. Make a, I guess.
I mean, is the net
It's
covered
just
in
10
copper?
feet. Huh?
Does like the net have copper lacing to it?
It's got
It's
like
rope.
Yeah, it's not super significant, but it's it wraps all the way around the Unigoth, and the Unigoth is now pretty much grappled or restrained. The speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against creature have advantage, and the creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So it wraps around both of you, and you are both now down on the ground right here. I would say that a harpoon would not have enough force to especially a net would not have enough force to throw you into the wall of flames, but you feel the heat sort of singeing some of the Unagoth's fur on the side and some of your mutton chops.
And the ropes?
And the ropes are, but it's not enough to like do damage to you, so it's not going to like burn the ropes. But that could be an option.
But it's weakening the rope?
They just
Yes.
continue on their trajectory?
Var'Kir, you're up. Then Hercheck, you're up immediately after.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna try to get through this wall of flame. I'm gonna take my halberd and try and put Thunderous Smite on it and try and see if that'll push some fire out of the way for a quick second before so I can dash through it. I guess maybe we'll try that.
Describe to me what you're going to do with your halberd.
So I put as a bonus action I use what's it called? Thunderous Smite, and it's like the first melee attack you hit with a melee weapon attack. Within the spell's duration, the weapon rings out in a thunderous, audible noise with 300 feet, and the person takes 2d6 thunder damage. But they also have to do a strength saving throw. Be pushed 10 feet away. So I'm just gonna use that push 10 feet away like that. I guess force that comes off of the attack, just to see if I can dissipate some of the flames for a second and go and dash through it, or roll through it, like something like that.
Okay.
Do I just make an attack roll on the pipes?
I would honestly just say this. You don't really need to make an attack roll. There's not like a moving object. I'll say that what's the visual effect of your Thunderous Smite?
Kind of like wave my hand above my halberd on the I guess the damaging part, and it kind of glows with almost like a blacklight type of shine. And I just swing it and hit it. And as soon as I make contact, it just and I do a little tuck and roll like through.
Okay, like spinning the halberd around and casting your hand across the blade, making runes light up along its length. At the end of your swirl, you lean back and slam down, bisecting the flames. And as you hit the bottom pipe, there's a line of piping that's casting all these flames out. You damage the first one, and the pulse, and you see this like force of wind, so wind and just like general force entirely, that it creates a portal through for a split second. Yeah, as you that is your full action, bonus action, and you just have movement as you feel the heat rush up behind you on your back. You are now inside, but you actually no, that won't happen until next turn. You are right here, staring up at where the ballista is located, and you just have your movement.
I want to get as close to the wall as I can, so he can't like fire at me. It's just like with my halberd like up, ready to strike him. I guess, yeah. It's like
Hercheck, you're up as you hear the creatures like keep being kept at bay. Some are like
How far
trying
are we
to egg
from
the
the
other ones. You guys are not currently in, like, you were just picked up.
Okay. Well, there's nothing I could really do. If anything comes close to us, I'm holding my attack. If anything comes close to us.
Okay. All right. We will, to keep things flowing here, we will keep your attack held all the way up until your next turn.
Yeah.
Not the next start of the round. Okay. That guy, the sort of pyre paladin that you heard billowing out these commands. He is going to pretty much, Var'Kir, you see him look at you as you enter through. He does a similar thing where he passes his hand along, and his gauntleted grip is passing and like causing sparks as these gouts of flame are shooting out as he extends along the length of the blade, creating this like flame scimitar. And he just starts to, for cinematic effect. Well, he goes around the moonbeam currently. Here, let's do this. Goes around the moonbeam. Okay, so 5, 10, 15.
There's no mic on you right now.
Oh, he has 45 from him.
He has exactly 40 feet of movement. And he's going to let rip 2 attacks with this flame blade, singeing the ground as it comes up with one, and then continues along the spin and comes down with the next one. We'll see if they work. Natural 16, what's your armor class? 21. 2 hits and 4. So you take 13 points of slashing damage. And 9 points of flame damage. As you can feel yourself like almost lifted off of your toes as the first one slices up your chest. As he spins around and comes down, you're just quick enough to use your own spear to causing sparks to pass and dance along your own armor. It's 1. This guy is going to.
You stole my sandwich, remember?
He is going to pull this guy back behind him, and he's going to start sort of doing a similar thing on his shield as you start to see this sort of like glowing red light as his shield is being superheated. Okay, next up, Crow, you're up.
I'm gonna try to get out of the rope net. Doing the goth and Thunky.
Okay, go ahead and roll a strength check. Or use an attack, and the just roll will have to be really high. Maybe your screech. Like you can either do a strength check, or you can try and think outside of the box on how you want to destroy this.
Bite it.
Well, I mean, I'd like to try and then use the battering tail. Hopefully, it was caught up in the net to just, almost like kicking and screaming like a little kid, or maybe a cat that doesn't want to be held any longer, trying to like stretch and break its way out.
It'd still be a strength check, I'd say.
$16.
It's enough to to get the press the tail out of the net, and you can from there move, but you can't fly as your feet are freed from the opening that your tail made. You can sort of right yourself and use half of your movements, but your wings are still sort of bound, and Thunky is still there with you. Are you holding on to Thunky still?
Since we're on the ground now, I will not be holding on to Thunky. So I can't fly, so can Unigoth run around?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
So it's got the net on it, and it's just.
Well, I said I'm bust
Stomp
out
around.
the net, but mostly, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to try and get behind cover then.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know where the best place would be. Would it be behind that corner over there?
It would be this guy can still attack you, that guy can still attack you. Right here, though, these two wouldn't be able to attack you, but let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That'd be as much as you could move.
I'll move over there then.
Okay. And just making sure you are leaving Thunky. this like giant.
Well, I'm hoping that Funky would like come with me. I would free from the rope.
Okay.
And then with the other Unagoth, I'm gonna try to take off the ground now. Fly up into the air.
Easily enough. So you just you have your full movement and 60. So you can get like just over the flame wall, I would say, from there.
Okay. Then I'll do that. I'll move just over the flame wall and then drop Hercheck off. Here. Bloop. And then we'll say he's still holding on to Crow.
Is this my time?
It is, as you see yourself being sort of like, you feel the heat on your feet as you're briefly, and the Unagoth swoops into the camp. This is now a new scene for you. So this is like Hercheck seeing everything for the first time, but the Unagoth does sort of like let you go on top of what is a copper-clad soldier holding a harpoon towards the entrance.
Perfect. I attack the dude.
Actually, this is Crow's turn. Never mind. Still good. You're good.
Natural 19.
Hits.
And natural 18.
Hits. Are you going for the dude or the ballista?
The dude.
Okay.
So we'll do 10, 4.
Look at you.
Ooh. So 18 points do slashing damage and 13 points radiant.
31 then total. Okay. You just hear, "For the Copper Kingdom!" He isn't killed, but you've definitely, as you sort of like landing one swoop, just like inserting it into the majority of his shoulder, and leaving out the back, and then picking your sword or your blade. This is the Starlight Conqueror? Yeah, picking your blade up and just slashing across his chest. What?
He's not dead, but he's just severely messed up right
Yeah,
now.
no, he's like
That's not good either.
And his arm, it's like you guys are fucking up their right arms, is like it's not moving anymore. And as you slash across his chest, you hear and it just sort of like goes limp, and he's still grabbing onto the harpoon with one, trying to like desperately aim at the Unagoth still.
Trying to do his duty still.
Okay. Frankie, make a dexterity saving throw.
A natural one.
Nice.
We skip. Not a second. No, I didn't mean to say skip. I meant to say we changed roles this game. Where you're getting all the high rolls and I'm getting all the really bad
Wait.
rolls.
I'm sorry. The Unagoth still has an action. So as much as I really would like that roll to be a thing, we did Hercheck's turn mid Unagoth turn. So you still have the Unagoth's action because you just brought that Hercheck and Crow over the flames.
Wasn't he captured?
Can I dash?
Yeah, you can. You have your action and bonus action still.
Okay. Then I'm gonna. What did you say was by that paper?
Another tent. but it's like connected to the corridor of cages.
And was there a platform in the center underneath the light that guy was on? The
No.
paladin?
No, there's no platform. It's
Oh.
just you see like a honestly like thickly, heavily like woven copper bindings. It's like this thing seems like just heavily dense and fortified metal structure.
I'm gonna fly up above the dome. Then, like, if I have however much more movement I have.
So we'll say that you're at 40 feet right now. Oh, well, hold on really quickly. Sorry to retcon. Did you swoop down to drop Hercheck off, or did you just sort of like leave of your own free will 40 feet in the air?
Well,
No. I said I got like over the flames and then got over the platform. Like I went down a little bit.
Okay,
but I wasn't trying to make like a
then
pit stop there.
you would have like 10 feet left where you're outside of the dome.
Okay. I'll take it.
All right.
So
Oh, shit. It's been 2 turns. I haven't done the fire damage for the Unagoths. For 2 for one Unagoth, 1 for the other.
But since Crow is in charge of them, don't they take on his skin and they're no longer burned anymore?
That's how it goes.
Yeah. Whoever's in charge of the flame.
25 points of fire damage total for the one inside still. That's across the 2 turns, and it's just this this continual sort of like spreading of this corrosive sort of like fire ailment on the Unagoths. Just like the gray, like the thick gray flesh is now sort of like bubbling and peeling. The Unagoth that entered and then left and then entered, so it will take 2 as well, is 13 for 1 round, and 7 for the next, totaling 20 points of fire damage. Okay, sorry. So now dropped Hercheck off. The Unagoth has left with Crow, has left the dome, and now what are you doing? As you have a bonus action left.
I'm going to try and screech. Just again, not to try and like damage anybody, but just maybe distract people.
Okay, go ahead and roll a performance check.
To 9.
Just like barely hear. Sounds like the crow just flew over.
Huh.
Ha. Yeah, and that is your turn. Now, Thunky, make a dexterity saving throw.
Natural.
And Crow, you are still in the clutches of an Unagoth.
Oh my god.
You are still in the clutches of an Unagoth, and your time is over.
No, I get 1 more turn.
No, you don't. You controlled the Unagoth, brought them into the camp, went and picked you guys up, and then brought you guys back. Your 3 rounds is over.
No, I still get 1 more turn. I figured out this.
Give it like some good ear scratches or something. Maybe it'll like you. Well, that's not
I mean,
good.
that Unagoth did look at you and go, "Rawr." Maybe it's the same one.
Just quickly stab its leg and fall.
Yeah, just stab it.
You have no fall damage, so you're good.
What does that make it my turn?
No, it doesn't make it your turn, because your turn was controlling them.
Okay. So then that was just a PSA.
That was just, yes.
Okay.
That was, yeah, for your information. Yeah, because you had to dash to get them into the camp, and then it was pick Thunky up, and then it was pick them up, and then it was bring them back. So yeah, that was 3. We got the Unagoth out of danger after putting it in danger. But what'd you roll for your dexterity saving throw, Thunky?
20 not natural. From 1 to 20.
Oh, wow. Again, this sort of like extension of this like sharp shadow leaps in your direction, just like spinning and spiraling towards you. It's honestly like, you know, when you like could have sworn something moved in the side of your vision. It's like that, except you just barely catch it, and you as you catch it in your view, you quickly turn to the side as this happened before, and you see it almost like slow motion. This blade spinning, wreathed in pure shadows and blackness, and as it passes like over your or through your vision and very up close to you, it's almost as though. Do you ever remember breathing really hard as a kid and then like cutting off your
No, I wasn't
oxygen?
a weirdo.
Whoa.
Look, most people were
I
weirdos
know.
back then.
I
But
thought it was
have you ever been
stupid.
extremely dizzy?
Yeah.
It's almost as though like your conscious is just like leaving you, and it passes and it comes back, and like darkness floods your vision.
Okay.
Okay. Next up is you.
So I'm on the outside of the wall now, right? Like I fell off.
On the outside of the camp, sort of like perimeter, but not the flame wall.
Okay. And how high is this wall, I guess? Or is it a wall?
It's about 10 feet.
Okay. Let me roll damage for that thing. So
Var'Kir,
normally,
you're up next after the ballistas.
normally with Moonbeam, whoever the Moonbeam lands on would take 40-10 at the beginning of their turn. So can I just roll damage for that at the beginning of my turns?
Yeah.
And it doesn't count as an action towards me?
Yes.
Okay. It's much better. 30.
Okay. You see it like a slight flicker on the outsides of the light barrier.
Can I tell that the Unagoth is like becoming unfriendly?
It currently is friendly. At the end of next round, it will not be.
Just a quick question on that. At the beginning of when we started, I wrote down 19 with a question mark for damage. And then I for sure wrote down 5, and then 11, and then 25. If the 19 happened, again, I couldn't really hear you. But
We'll flip a coin and see which Unagoth it was for.
No,
Because
it's definitely for the one with Thunky.
Oh, then as it's waddling away, because it only has 60 health, I think it's...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Did 19 damage happen?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That's
What
just Thunky's form. It's still good. No, I know. But I'm sorry. So it then took 19 more points of damage.
So then it's dead.
It's not dead. I halved the life for Thunky's form because 120 was kind of ridiculous for an Unagoth.
Okay. It's got 19 points left.
So yeah, it's just like as it's like waddling away and just like screaming in its natural psyche, but like still slightly being controlled by Crow.
Okay. I'm gonna come over. It still has the net on its back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be like, no, it's okay. And I'm gonna cast Animal Friendship at a 4th level.
Is it concentration?
It doesn't say it is.
Oh, if there's no sea bite, then you're good.
Yeah. So it has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Rolled a 2.
Yes! It's my friend.
Okay.
And then, so I'm gonna take the net off of it,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna get up on it.
Okay.
And then I would like to somehow, like tap its wings or something, like, fly, like, let's go. We're friends now.
Roll it may be your friend, but roll like a charisma or persuasion check.
Okay.
Like
At advantage, because it's my friend.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yay! Okay. Please. Okay. Good. 19.
19. You can tell that it's in pain. And you can also tell that it's, well, one of the main reasons you can tell it's in pain is because most of its body is boiling off of it right now.
Oh my god.
And so as you're like climbing up it, you're almost like ripping some pieces of flesh sliding off, like you're grabbing what is like the mane that extends from the center of its back and sort of like out and over its bat ears. You're like grabbing it, and some flesh or some of the hair is just like coming off. It's a little bit difficult to climb up, but that is, you are now on the Unagath, and it is for you, for Thunky. You can see like the reservation in its eyes as it's looking at you, like, this could be my last run.
But I want it to like fly above the light so that it's not burning anymore. You know, like, let's get on up out of here.
Okay.
I guess the entire time I'm climbing up, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna hurt you. It's gonna be fine. As I'm like accidentally ripping chunks of his flesh out.
It's probably burning so much all over that it can't really tell the small amounts of missing chunks.
But I already cast something.
Yeah, Thunky's turn is fully over.
But does it have movement to go up?
No, because the turn was used
Oh.
in the beginning of this round by Crow.
Oh.
So it is the instantaneous. Oh, okay. The sort of like cloaked individual that you attack, that's just like one arm severed on its on his side, is it can't attack anything with the ballista, so it just pulls its hand off and like just puts it on your chest, and you feel this ray of heat just like and there's no saving throw for this. It's Scorching Ray, but you rolled a disadvantage and got a 16. And he's casting it at the highest level he can. 8, 13, 14. So
how much damage?
for the, I mean, I have to redo everything. Well, actually, no, I don't. You were at 15 points of damage. Okay, 15, and then exactly 20 points of fire damage. As you start to feel it like welling inside of you, and like flame is just like bursting off of the sides and out of the silhouette of his hand. And yeah, he's just like, may you be immolated is what the word is. Just to let you know. Immolaitoria.
Immortal you.
And the eyes roll to the back of his head and he dies. Just kidding. Okay, so
what?
the second one is going to... this guy is going to fire at you, Hercheck.
I'm like quarter covered from the ballista and this dude.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Okay. Just like you know, my armor's higher now.
Yeah, what is it? Add 2.
That's good. It's 16 though. Pretty sure.
Okay.
16.
As you're feeling this like welling of heat, thick flame wreathed harpoon just
Thick.
disappears into the fire behind you. Misses. Lame is what I'll say this time. This guy's also going to fire at you. From this point, you don't have quarter cover because your back is just fully facing. Natural 14.
Misses.
You're not raging, are you? 10 points of pierce out of 3d8s, only 10 points of damage, piercing damage, and then plus another. Now that's what we're talking about. 14 points of fire damage. As it inserts itself into the middle right portion of your back, and you see this thick red iron tipped harpoon like come out of the front of your stomach, just beneath the hand from the crazed eyes of the guy in front of you. Next up is Var'Kir and then Hercheck.
So up in it?
Yes, you have the
copper clad right in front of me.
yes,
And,
paladin.
Alright, so for a bonus action, I want to cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay. Good move.
So he has to do a wisdom saving throw if he wants to attack me. On a failed save, he must choose a new target or lose the attack. And then for my attack, I would like to do inflict wounds on him. So I have to do a melee spell attack on him. So it's a plus. What's it a plus? It's a plus 8 to hit.
18 is armor class.
Oh. Oh, well, that's so 11 plus 8 is 19.
Wow, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. I got hit him. So he takes. He takes
3d10 necrotic.
But I'd use it at a 3rd level, so he takes 5d10.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Where's the d10?
Just use your percentage now. Just use percentage.
Three, 4, 5, that's 5. So we got. Is that a 1?
32. No, I'm sorry. 25. Yeah. And a 9 or 6. Yeah, it's a 6. Yep.
6,
Chip. I thought, yeah, I was like 10, nice, but the 10 is a 0.
yeah.
So, excuse me.
I'm taking the wood dice out. That's necrotic damage, so you can't heal any of it.
Bastard. That's appropriate.
Isn't he a paladin? Shouldn't he be like super susceptible to necrotic? It's like double damage. Makes sense.
Are you doing anything else? Oh, that's your.
That's my full.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. I was thinking if he does have anything against that, but no. Unfortunately, not. What's the sort of visual of this move?
Basically, I touch my chest to do the sanctuary, and almost like pseudo armor pops up. Just a helmet. My shield gets a little like a extra little buffer on it, and then I just say some guttural words, and it turns my halberd again into a dark shine. And then I hit him, and necrotic damage bursts out.
Okay, yeah, just starts.
Like grabs that out of him.
Yeah, like black liquid just starts like leaping from armor plate to armor plate and like going inside and like turning the brass green and then black and then melting in the like primary torso region of this paladin. Okay, you are done. Hercheck, you're up.
With harpoon coming through me, I'm slightly angry, so I would like to rage.
Okay.
At this point in time, and then dude that's in front of me, I'm gonna do 2 reckless attacks to try to finish him off.
Okay.
14 plus, so that's attacking, so 14 plus 9. So a lot.
Oh yeah.
I mean a natural 19.
Okay, yeah. I forgot about the other ballistic guy. Fuck.
16 slashing and 12 radiant.
16 slashing. You kill him with your first blow.
Sweet. So his body falls limp. I am going to position myself with my movement. Is there like a stairwell right next to
Say
him?
you like grab his hand and just like smile as you start raging and get it welling up inside you. You just cut him in half.
Ooh.
Throw him off to the side.
I keep this top portion.
And his face goes from crazy to really sad and like, this is my life. And his eyes roll to the back of his head as he...
Is there a staircase near me?
There's a ladder. That's what the...
This is the ladder?
You can just jump on
Yeah.
top of the paladin next to
And it's 10 feet, so...
Yeah, I'm gonna... Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm gonna jump on top of this paladin.
Okay, go. I will...
I don't care how high it is.
I will add 2 to your damage. No, add another d6 to your damage.
Okay.
So
All right.
You're welcome.
Some odd pounds comes down on you 2 damage.
It's like the fall damage that you would get if you just jumped down, but you're using him.
So what am I adding? What is the?
You're not adding.
What
To
dice am I
your
using?
damage, it's a d6 naturally.
Okay, so I'm using Starlight Conqueror as my damage then.
Yeah.
As a.
Use everything that you normally would, but when you roll for damage, add 1d6.
Oh, okay. Cool. So 17 points.
What did you roll to hit?
Oh well. 2 15s plus 9.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
Oh, no,
So
dice
again,
rolls.
17.
17 points of damage. Okay.
And that's me coming straight down on top
with the
of him.
d6?
Yeah, that was with the d6.
Okay.
And then he has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Actually, we'll do it. Ha! Okay. He fails a dexterity saving throw as you feel him try as your blade inserts itself into his right shoulder.
You're really attacking those right
I
shoulders.
know,
This really hits me at home.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right.
He he has enough experience and knew that you were up there, and he hears the sort of like leap off of the.
He's got elf ears.
At what? You're 10 feet above him, and you're like a 300-pound.
Wow, I'm
Goliath
300
man.
pounds now.
Yes,
Wow, you're so offending. You're offending me all day.
And
today
he
now.
tries to sort of like push away from Var'Kir just in time, but fails as you like come down and you are peeling the plate armor off of his front side, slashing down his chest, and holding him in place as he tried to get away, as he feels the sort of like the tickling, unnerving sensation of the electrical energy that's about to be pulsed out. 10 points of damage?
Yeah, lightning damage. Wait, he's wearing copper, right?
Double. How do you want to do it?
I just want him to just fry, like, ah!
Okay, yeah,
Like
you're just
he's
sort of
a
like
moth
bear
to a
bear
flame.
hugging him and pressing the blade into him as the lightning is just, and you can feel it on your chest, but being the sort of like you feel Ragensha's light. Ragrenchi. You feel her light.
Almost time.
You feel her like blessing, just guarding you from all of the electricity, and it's just tickling your chest as you're pressing the blade in, and he falls and slides down, clumping to the ground.
What blessings would Ragensha give?
Ragensha. Plus the thievery.
I regret
Instead of
doing
Penke,
this.
you have Oscar the Grouch.
It would just be the Grinch in my pocket.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Wait. Okay, who's up next?
Top of the round.
Man, that paladin didn't get a second chance.
I'm not gonna say it.
What were you gonna say, Kat?
No, it's fine.
Yeah?
Oh wait, I'm not gonna say it.
Just write it down.
And they say his pocket grew 2 sizes.
God damn.
Grinch in your pocket.
Here we
D&D
go.
lends itself to jokes like that. I'm finished.
Christmas campaign.
Christmas campaign. Yeah.
Your D&D's Ragensha. Your pockets are those.
God damn.
That's your bonus.
Pinky-
Cargo pants.
It's Pinky's Christmas sack.
These two, the paladin and the mage combo, you see the light of the shield sort of turn around and sort of like press forward, and it's almost like blinding, is how radiant this shield is. But you do see one copper-headed staff pointing over his shoulder. I'm sorry, not a staff, because his arm is completely ruined. Just the hand pointing over his shoulder as another fireball is prepared and aimed at you and the at the Unagoth. As they're pressing forward, it would be... Say they wouldn't go much farther than that. Roll dexterity saving throw for the Unagoth. Actually, I will. 19, thank goodness. You take 9 points of fire damage, thank God. But immediately after, the next round starts, and you take, I already re-rolled this, you take another 9 points of damage, and I'm not making that up. You have 1 more point left on this Unagoth.
You have to.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have control
Nope, the
anymore?
Unagoth
Oh,
no
okay,
longer has
cool.
control, and the Unagoth flies. Like, how dare you? Flies up
Friendship.
and over the wall and out into
Oh,
into the fog wreathed
Oh.
environment of the
That's
floating
fine.
forest. and you hear the screech of the other one above you, and you sort of like look up and see Crow being held there by the Unagoth. Crow, I'll say you and this Unagoth go at the same time. What are you doing as you are the Unagoths, or in the Unagoth's vision, looking down at you, and immediately you are down at you, looking up at an Unagoth, looking down at you, like.
Give him a fist bump.
I am going to.
And the flute crumbles away, and is taken by the wind.
Lost in the wind.
Kick it in the face.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
Kick it in the face.
Just poop it Snoop. No.
Yeah.
You feel the grip get stronger around your shoulder, and you start to feel pain as one of the talons starts embedding itself in your back.
Man, I hate to do this. I'm gonna grab my 2 daggers. Or sorry, they're not daggers. They're like little, like hand size scythes.
Yeah.
Sickles. Yeah, they're exactly sickles. I'm gonna try to sickle the legs off my shoulders.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack. As it lets out this more than 9 bellow, directed fully at you. Every one of the combatants down below hears this like terrifying screech as you quickly swipe with your sai or your sickle.
It's 26.
To hit?
Yes.
Okay, as you swipe with your sickle, go ahead and roll damage. And I will roll a concentration check for the Unagoth to see if it is enough. So like it has to roll less than half of the damage that you dealt.
It's 11 points of damage.
No. Instead, it uses its turn and goes up 60 feet and spins and chucks you down, straight down.
No!
He has slow fall, though. He has slow fall.
Yeah, he got slow fall. He's got slow fall. He's fine.
About right here, so that's a total of 160 feet.
He's got slow fall.
Times 2.
He's got slow fall.
Huh?
He's got slow fall.
Because he was thrown. This is not just a fall. This is a throw.
Well,
So 162. I'm going to go ahead and roll damage for that. Where's the... Seriously. This will indicate 160 feet up.
He was the final boss. He was looking at us from his perch.
Up here.
So
Crow,
do you not
here you
take
go.
fall damage? Do you take
Hold
reduced
on to
fall
that,
damage?
maybe.
He takes reduced fall damage because slow fall, but I don't know how much that would be.
wait, but
It's weird.
I'm next, right? Can I
just gonna
swoop
use
in
my
and
phone
get
for
him
this one.
before he hits the ground?
So
Wait,
what
wait.
is now happening is the Unagoths are contested because Crow, your comrade, just swiped into the foot of like somebody from the same brood as the Unagoth that's holding.
Didn't see it. We're over here. He was like really high
The
up.
screech, the scream.
Nah.
You turn into an
Huh? What?
You turn into an
Yeah, but I want this one as my mount. Trying to be friends with it.
Sorry, I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna use a dice roller for this one.
I'll try and swoop in.
16
1, 2, 3,
D10.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Cable guy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A total of 128 points of damage Do you get half? What is Crow's ability to not immediately die from this?
It says that basically the damage is reduced by 30, and I only have 102 points.
You barely survive. Wait, were you down any damage before going into this?
No.
Okay.
It's a good thing it wasn't double.
Reduced
your
to
health, you would have been just gone.
30. So
Twigs.
then, yeah, 194. I'm sorry, just 94 points of damage.
Are you barely alive?
As you have 8 left, 8 points of health left, and it is your turn also at this. Oh no, it's not. You used your turn. You used your attack anyway. You still have your bonus action.
Can you heal it all?
And where did I land?
You were landing like you were going straight towards the center. You can like adjust.
Can I say I hit the top of the light? I'm on the outside of the orb.
It would do more damage if you hit the light to you than just a normal fall. You'd be impaled. It'd be incredible bludgeoning damage on one portion of your body that would be unusable again.
Can we I'd like this part to be cut out really fast.
Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so and 121. Okay.
So Crow wants to die, right? Like that is the plan for this campaign.
I think that I have a better
this too
plan in
soon?
mind.
Okay.
If you genuinely want to go now, then we can do that, but it's like, how do we get another person in?
I was thinking, like, if you wanted to go now, you could impale yourself on the light, and maybe we can just say that he broke the light and, like, sacrificed himself to save all of us. But if it's too soon, then we don't have to do that.
But then we'd be one man down for the third camp.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I thought this was the last one.
I thought you were going to try and fetch me.
No, man. Tim can come back.
You've
Just for
already
this
fallen.
one
I can't
camp.
get you, right?
He's falling.
You've already taken the damage and everything.
Are you using a life
Well,
alert?
no,
here?
he's mid fall. This is the damage that he would take theoretically.
Oh,
Is
okay. I
this a
thought he
life
was already
alert
on the
moment?
ground.
I've fallen
We-
and can't
we-
get up.
But we got to figure out how to actually, like... would it have even been possible for her to intercept me?
My original plan was
We were on
to
the same
mass cure wounds with myself, my Unagoth, and then if he ends up being in range, then him too, within 30 feet of me, and then swoop and catch.
Do you not have any like ability or key thing that you can do to?
Well, you're not dead, so you're as long as you don't get shot by a ballista or something, you should be fine.
I mean,
As long as you make it over to me and Hercheck, you should definitely probably be
I
fine.
have
yeah.
fullness of body. I just feel like the RP thing to do would be take that hit.
On
And then,
the pole? Because I'm telling you, it'd be more damage, and you probably wouldn't survive. Like you would be unconscious. You wouldn't be straight up killed.
yeah, I'm
but
fine with that.
You would be unconscious.
I like that. I think it looks cool and is a good reaction.
But then
you are in the center of 2 ballistas.
Oh, that's right.
all of the creatures outside would flood in because the light no longer protects us. So
Well, there's still flames. There's still firewall.
even the flying creatures. I guess.
Well, I mean, either way, our plan was to destroy that light and somehow make it back to the ship.
Yeah, like my imagination is, or my understanding is that the light would be gone, so it'd be dark, and
How much damage would you do to the light from falling on it?
A lot, probably.
As much damage as he would take.
And who knows who we could find in this forest.
But
Hey.
I would cure my Unagoth, and then I could also shapeshift into an Unagoth and pick you guys up. And then pick up his lifeless body, and then we go back to the ship.
We just need the gem.
Huh?
We just need the gem.
Gem?
And the atlas.
The gem.
The gem and the atlas.
No, but he doesn't want to die. He just wants to be unconscious while taking out the light.
Yeah, like I'm fine to take out the light. Like I think that's cool. I got death saving.
So you're saying the Ungarth, like
I don't know if you get a death saving throw with that amount of damage.
You can. Here's what we can do. If you are trying to take out the light, you will make an attack roll at disadvantage. I'm sorry. First, we'll do an acrobatics check to see if you can to see if you can sort of like shift yourself within these 60 feet that you have in the dome to like you're in the general area, but if you were to go straight down, you wouldn't land directly on the light. You'd have to like control yourself to the light, and then you'd have to make an attack roll at disadvantage, and then the light would take full fall damage that you would take plus your damage, and you would take only the fall damage. Does that make sense? So your body's not just like onto the light and it's damaging the light, but it would be more of like a purposeful attack. Okay, let's do it. As Crow, Thunky, you actually can't even see Crow at this point. You only hear the Unagoth cry.
Could he do the Rufio thing and just like hit the light on his way down to slow himself down so he doesn't die?
Yeah, the
completely?
sickle on the like coming down on the ship's sail, just tearing his way down.
There's no way to avoid all fall damage.
Yeah, it wouldn't avoid all
But-
of it.
Rips out his arms.
Depending on how well he rolls, potentially. Okay. Nobody else has any idea what's going on with Crow. Everybody just heard this horrifying cry above them. Crow, you are being thrown down, and you only see this like this vague dome at the distance that you're at as it gets larger and larger and more vivid, and you pass through the dome, and the first thing that you see that blinds you almost is this central point of light. What was your objective coming into this camp? Roll an acrobatics check to see if you can sort of like move yourself as you're falling in the direction of the light. Oh wait, do you have 2 attacks?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then yeah, this is your last attack. What'd you get?
18 for the first one.
At advantage?
And
No. So this is the acrobatics check is just one single roll. It's not at disadvantage. The attack is at disadvantage.
oh, okay. Well, it's still 30 is the acrobatics.
You guys just see this like wooden meteor with the flash of his scythe behind him from the glare of the light. And go ahead and roll attack at disadvantage. (17-18) or 17-11?
No, it's 11 and 18, but I have a +8 to attack.
Okay.
So it's 19 and 26.
Okay, how do you want to do this for the light? It takes the full 124 original points of damage, which shuts everything off. You do completely destroy it. Doesn't matter what your damage is with your scythe.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just use both of those sickles to like spin and try my best to like lodge swipe at that light to just like rip it apart. And there could be collateral damage to my arms, but I'll take it.
That's so rude, man.
Wow, Linda, this isn't your own personal video.
Get the people going.
It's like they know. The cats
like
are
staring at you like,
aware
what?
of where the center of attention is.
It's rude,
Both in the
man.
future, like, ether of the viewers and us. Okay, with the samurai swipes of quick as you start spinning, you shatter. They were three sort of like orbs going down. All of them. The blade gets hooked into one, dislocates your arm, and it's just enough disorientation to everything else goes black immediately after that feeling. And your feet are just sticking out of the ground where you slowly regain your orientation and your consciousness back. It's like as like your HUD starts to come back on and your life bar is like blinking at this bareliest, smallest sliver that you can have. Your right arm, until further notice, is out of action. I'm sorry, your left arm. Let's do left arm this time. Your left arm is out of action. You just hear the mage from behind the paladin. Ha! As the moonbeam is still up, by the way. So it's like it disappeared, and now the lights are off, and the moonbeam is the only pillar of light that's illuminating the inside. Oh, and the wall of fire. It's like this light blue pale light is illuminating the center of the camp, and the firewall is illuminating the rest of the outside, giving everybody inside just enough vision to be able to operate. But yeah, your turn is done. And at this point, you hear, "Notify Fabian! We need reinforcements!" And nobody would see it. "Ensure the stalkers are left unharmed!" And Thunky, you're up.
Okay.
And you have, I would say, you have the movement of the Unigoth, but the Unigoth's action is already done. If you want to forsake the Unigoth's turn next round to then incorporate into your turn, you can.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But you look behind you, and the light is gone. The dome is gone, and you just see the outline of the fire, like the perfectly rectangular fire wall.
I would like to... Okay, first I'll cast Cure Wounds on the Unigoth. So, let's see.
Is that your action or bonus action?
I guess that's my action. And then I will use movement. So 11 points of healing.
Okay.
And then
you do see your moonbeam as well.
I would like to fly to Crow and pick him up. Like, can that be my action that I use for the Unigoth for next time?
I would say you'd have to roll a perception check to even know where Crow is.
The moonbeam isn't like glowing enough.
It is, but you don't know what happened. Like you flew out, and when you turned around, this is the scene that you're presented to. Like you just heard this Unigoth cry, some slashing against metal noises, and a big crash in the ground, and some dust, like a cloud of dust, is still settling. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to immediately see where Crow is.
Would I know where Hercheck and Var'Kir are still?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take the Unigoth over to Hercheck and Var'Kir.
Remember, 60 feet.
Oh. Damn. Let's see. Wait, are these 5 or 10? Sorry. Squares.
5.
That's not far enough. Okay, fine. I'll, let's see. I'm gonna fly towards the moonbeam, and then, basically fly down there where I saw the giant dust cloud on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna look for Crow to pick him up in the talons and then use the rest of the movement to fly upwards.
You wouldn't be able to pick him up because the Unagoths, like, all actions are gone.
Do you think I could use his action from the next turn? Like, expend his next turn's action?
When we get to that, you'd be able to pass up, because they're at the top of the round, the Unagoths. You would have to just forsake that action and wait until your next turn to incorporate it into your full turn. So you have movement in your bonus action right now. The Unagoth can't do anything but fly. Because also say that this is the Unagoth's dash action because you only used its movement to go out.
So, sorry, am I above the... Well, it's all dark now anyways, I guess. So let's see. In that case, I'll just fly towards them with the Unagoth. So 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I guess I'd be like somewhere in the air, like here.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, you want to be there?
I mean, I'm above it, right? They can't see me.
How far above are you?
Didn't I exit the dome originally?
You did, but there's, again, like, there's a giant flame wall that's still illuminating the area and your moonbeam. So I'll say, like, the flame wall illuminates at least, like, 20 feet above it and 20 feet all around it.
I guess it would just depend on, like, how high I flew above the dome originally.
60 feet.
Do
So
they
you're
Yeah,
just
60 feet
at
above.
that. Okay.
Do the bad guys have ocean cloaks or something equivalent? Because the fog's coming in.
I think we went over this last time. Oh no,
They
it was actually
don't.
a mutant.
They don't.
So shouldn't they be
They should
falling
die.
asleep like sooner or later since the fog's just coming in over the the firewall, I guess? Never.
Currently the fog has not. There's like one more round before the fog comes into, and actually sort of like, gets around everybody. That was Thunky. All right. Dead. You see a small row, a small pillar of the fire stop shooting flames out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh.
And then this guy, who can he see? Actually, this guy is going to be right here. Yeah. He just leaves the ballista, and you see him break this, like mutter a few words, pull out this shining red gem, and just sort of like crushes it, like it's not made out of the full material of a gem. And from the gem, pulses out these sort of like fiery red lights, lights shining in all directions, and it coalesces into its own sort of like flame dome around him and the soldier, copper-clad soldier. All I have is blue, so just use your imagination.
Red blue wall. Oh, how far is that wall? Like 30 feet?
And you cannot see inside of it. This next guy is going to effectively... I'm just not going to take that chance. He's going to do the same thing. Oh, nope. that's whatever.
We're gonna have areas of overlap.
This ballista guy is just gonna jump down and run into the tent. Var'Kir, you're up.
So I guess I can't see into those red spheres, can I?
Nope.
How far can that ballista shoot?
You imagine they're like pretty big, thick. You imagine at least 100 feet.
So can I jump in onto the ballista above us and spin it towards the red wall I see, and try and shoot the ballista at the red wall, just to see if things can pierce that shield that they just put up?
Yeah, go for it.
So I guess I climb up the wall, turn the ballista, and fire. I want to try and aim
As
for
it's
this-
on like tracks.
aim for where I saw the, I guess, archer that was on the
There's
other
like
ballista.
there's like a what's it called? Where you take out the arrows?
Quiver?
There's like a giant quiver on the side of the ballista that you. All right. You're just firing it into which one?
I'm firing it to where I saw the copper-clad archer, I think it is, that got off the last ballista, crushed the red gem the first time.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack at disadvantage.
So... Yeah, 3.
It disappears inside and you don't notice any reaction.
Okay, that's the only thing I wanted to know, if attacks can pierce that shield. So I figured that out. We're good.
Hercheck, you're up.
Attacks can pierce the shield. Do whatever you want.
Thanks for the healing. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it is your info.
What info?
Well, now you know that things can go through it.
Do I have any potions?
Oh, but wait, I do a bonus action as well still, don't I? I still have a bonus action as well, don't I?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to
No,
do...
actually, I'll say your bonus action was loading it.
Oh, okay, then never mind. I was going to use a bonus action to heal him, but that's...
Use a potion of healing for a bonus action. Heals me for 7 points of healing.
7 points. Woo!
Hey man, normal potion of healing sucks. Did I see Crow fall in the middle?
Roll a perception check.
I think I already picked the host. Sorry, going to pick
15.
I'd say you have a pretty good idea that it was Crow.
I'm gonna make my way over to Crow with my 40 movement speed. And action. I'm gonna pick up his body.
Oh, he's still alive. I mean, he's still awake. But he's like conscious. He's just like dazed. You see him like.
Yeah, I'm bringing him back.
Okay.
Get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself.
I'll pick him up. That was my action. I'm picking him up.
Okay. You have your full movement when you.
And that's my turn.
All right. Yeah, it's just Funky, you're all the way over there. No, you guys don't notice anything. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, you guys want to see. Okay, that's them. The Unagath is up. Are you holding it?
No, I guess I'll just take its turn. I would like to take movement and go another 60 feet.
Okay.
Right? And then... Can I tell Var'Kir to get on the Unagath?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Well, the Unagath...
It'll be like a free action.
Get on the Unagath and wait here.
Is this thing safe to get on?
We're friends. We're friends.
It's
gonna be fine.
And my friends.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. And then I'm gonna like stroke the Unagath as Var'Kir gets on it.
I guess I'll look at this dwindling Unagath that could be its last run.
If you want to heal it or something, it'd probably be even more friendly.
Would rely on
12
for
points of
healing.
damage or health.
And
Yeah,
I'll
10
just...
points. You should like this. Oh wait, you're dark here, huh?
Yeah.
Var'Kir, you should like this animal.
Yeah, but like,
It's evil.
I don't have any actions, and I'm just gonna climb. Well, I'll climb up on my next turn, I guess. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then I guess I can't do anything else, right? Because it's Unagath's turn.
Yeah, you have an action. You need like an attack or do something, but yeah. Okay.
All the bad guys are kind of in the back of the camp, hiding themselves away.
Var'Kir, make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. 14.
The same dizzying effect that I was talking about before. As you look up towards the Unagath, you feel this cold presence in between your shoulder blades, and you start, as your vision starts to circle in and disappear into just blackness, you notice yourself falling a little bit, and everybody else notices Var'Kir descending into a familiar black puddle.
Huh?
No, it's back.
And Var'Kir, you sort of like, it's extremely cold where you are. You have your body is completely, it's like being in not an anti-gravity chamber, but like one of those baths where you can't, it's your same temperature, it's like just buoyant enough, you can't, there we go, sensory deprivation chamber, and you also can't breathe. You only have your vision and barely a semblance of your body and form. And you also just hear these like crazy, almost like dormant, but like many of them around you. Crow, you're up.
Can I do anything if I'm being held by Hercheck?
He just picked you up. So you have your full everything right now.
Hercheck. I'm okay. You can put me down.
I just lifted you up. You're on your own 2 feet.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to use Wholeness of Body, which I regain 18 points of health.
Just take a deep breath, and you start to see sort of like the roots start to connect together and like form and twirl and intertwine and fuse a little bit. But still, he looks very damaged. Your left arm is still
Just forms a
invisible.
That'll be my action. For my bonus action, I'd like to just do a perception check around the area, since I really probably don't know what's going on.
Okay, roll perception check. Remember.
Natural 20.
Natural 20?
Yep.
Okay. You start to just sort of like, as you go into your meditative state, you get a quick understanding of sort of like the visuals around you. You still haven't explored the tents just yet, but you don't have any visual inside of them. And so as you're sort of like meditating and healing and your sinews are growing, you're extending your sort of like audible perception around you. And you can hear bickering in the tent where you and Hercheck are closest to. You can hear like
Don't come in here. What are you doing? You let them know about what I'm up to. Everything will be lost.
And you hear just sort of like this. It's a little bit farther away, and you just hear this like pleading, like,
The fog is here. The gates have been we're sending for help. We need reinforcements. This camp is compromised. The stalkers. I don't know how much time they have left.
and then you hear at the same time, like separating them out, you hear talking from inside of here, just like,
do we release the creatures now? No, that'd be a fool's errand. We'd all die.
And just talk of like, we need to hold out until reinforcements get here. And we like, yeah, and then you also hear like, well, you hear in the tent, you hear like,
what about the experiments? And you hear, one escaped. I don't know where he is. This other one isn't finished yet. I'm almost there.
Okay, I can I speak kind of freely to Hercheck?
Yeah, it can't be like a conversation. It can be like a letting him know something.
Hercheck, do you hear that? There's activity going on in the camp. I'm gonna head over to that ballista and fire at it. I'll see you later. And then I'm gonna. Oh wait, I think I can't actually. Well, I'm gonna make my way towards the ballista. Do I have my full movement?
Yeah.
No, sorry, this one.
Okay, yeah, you do. You can make it.
Oh, cool. Wait, is this a staircase? Is this a staircase over here?
Yeah, it is. The ladder is probably faster.
Yeah, it is probably faster, but I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. Oh, no, one more.
Take a quick break.
We will probably wrap up shortly. Oh, so you're just behind the ballista?
Yeah.
Okay. And you start to hear the incursion of a lot of sounds of creatures outside of the flame wall. You can hear some hisses after you hear the burning sounds, like they're testing different ways to get in. You can even hear some jumping and like flame sounds higher up on the wall. As you start to just hear them like definitely collecting outside. And you also hear this massive come from farther deep within the forest. Next up is Funky.
Let's go.
So The dark blackness that swallowed up Var'Kir, is that the same thing as that thing that we first encountered on the trail?
Mm-hmm.
That blobby thing?
It's a 14th angel.
I totally forgot about that. What happened before we watched that, by the way. No, this is what sort of like the dark cloaked sort of stood out individual from the rest of the Denebraun Army is what took Crow under in your first encounter with them in the floating forest.
And so he's on the ground, or I was kind of confused.
So there's like a puddle of blackness on the ground. Go ahead. What just happened?
I was just trying to like get it out.
Go ahead and roll. Roll an intelligence check.
Just trying that out.
12.
Never mind.
Passive perception.
Well, like, I don't see him at all. He's in this puddle.
Yeah, Var'Kir is gone. It's just the puddle. And okay, Gannon, what's up, buddy? I've waited too long for pets.
I don't remember how we got you. I don't even really remember this. I think you were in limbo, weren't you?
The nameless
While you're
one
in
is
there?
taking me again.
Is there a way to get you
Leave
out?
me.
It's got to be some sort of saving throw on his side.
You're drunk, Remy.
Or
No,
something
just
chill.
this cord is super short.
I can't see it.
You with your passive perception?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with passive perception, can I somehow see the cloaked individual? It's the same guy that was over here, right? That, like, swooped by me, and I was like, yeah, it is, because he felt dizzy. Can I do a passive perception?
Sure, yeah.
check? Well, I guess, yeah, I guess that would be a perception check. Okay. 26.
Okay. You see that there's like, as the wall of flames it's not this static present light. It's like shifting shadows everywhere and like going in and out. And the moonbeam is the same way. It's not just this like static pillar of light. So you're seeing shadows of individuals and structures sort of like shifting all around. But right on the side of the corner right here, you notice that there's a singular area where the shadows are always present. Not like they're still shifting, but it's like still a shadowed area, and you see the slight perceptible like imprints of feet and just like a little bit of obscured stones, and you can hear just like the bare like.
Alrighty then.
A little bit, yeah. And you also are now, with that perception check, conscious of the conversations that Crow overheard as well.
I still have my action though, right?
Yeah.
I would like to look at that corner, but not like obviously. But like I know it's there, and then I'm gonna be like this. Like if the corner is here, and I'm like this, I'm gonna look, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be like, lightning bolt, like real
swift
fast.
with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what's that over there? And I'm like, hit him.
Sure, yeah. Is it a roll to attack for you, or is it just a roll to...
Dexterity saving throw.
For them?
Yes.
For a shadowy figure, I rolled the obsidian snowflake dice, because they're darker. And I just want you to just make sure that...
Yay! Can he take like double damage?
We'll see what happens.
Let's see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I thought I had one more set. There we go.
Oh, those loaded dice.
Cheater. Using PAX dice like that. What? How many?
10d6.
Okay.
Level 5. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. What is this?
6.
Oh. Okay. 33.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 43?
33?
33? 33. Okay.
That's what I...
Sorry. No, we won't go into this. Amanda just texted me something, and I have a lot of explaining to do. She found the cards.
Oh.
Oh, the dick cards?
Yeah.
You still kept those?
Ooh.
I don't know why I
Wait,
did.
you threw
I,
yours
like,
away?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Somehow I've gotten like 3 or 4 of them. They just get sent to me and I don't give them to anybody, so I'm just like, I'll just keep it in a book. The funny thing is when we were at Uncle Greg's house, I brought the same book that I was reading, and like it fell out of my backpack.
My
And like I woke up
God.
and they were just scattered on the ground.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, now he has some interesting thoughts about me.
Nice.
So
If it makes you feel better, they all thought you were asexual.
who?
That Bish family.
Whatever, man. That doesn't bother me at all. Asexuals are cool people too. Yeah,
just beep all this out. What just beep all that out?
Sorry. You know how like when you're in dodgeball and you are like preparing what direction you're going to go just in case, and you end up choosing the wrong direction as opposed to actually using your reflexes to dodge something? Like you jump into the ball that they throw at you. Yeah. He does the same thing. You just see like, and how would you like to do this? Because it will definitely I'm going to add enough damage with a natural 1 to
Good. I'm gonna be like sneaky bitch and then like shoot it off at him.
Okay.
Sneaker, no sneaky.
Yeah, and you just hear and like it's just the lightning passing through something and connecting to the poles of the tent at first, and then you slowly start to see him appear and start like burning and collapsing down to the ground. As his last breath, you just see this cloak on top of him and smoke rising above. At the end of this turn, and you also start to see the fog start to press into this area more and more. And with that, as soon as his last breath, you just hear... You start to hear... Your senses come back to you, Var'Kir, and you all start to hear like up against the cages in the area where the ballista on the opposite side of the camp is, where you saw all those empty cages before. Now you hear like slamming of creatures inside of them, and just trying to like the scratching of claws and teeth against metal, the shifting of cages. Funky, you have your movement, and that's about it.
Can I yell something?
Yeah. Free action.
Should we get out of here? It sounds bad. Can I also somehow do like an intelligence check? Cause like, didn't you fly once? Can you still do that?
No, I don't have the potions on me.
Oh. Right. I'll tell. Okay. Do you write Darkir or Var'Kir? I've been hearing Var'Kir, but you also say Darkir.
No, I said Var'Kir. It's just Var'Kir. I say
Oh.
Var'Kir to
like,
illustrate which
distinguish.
Var'Kir it is.
Which one? Yeah.
Var'Kir, get on! And go pick up Crow on your way back to the ship.
I haven't been through a PME on how to fly one of these, so I'll try. I'll try my way through this.
I'm gonna like
climb my way up this injured Unagoth.
And then I'll look at the Unagoth, and I would like to hold its head like nicely between my hands, and I'm gonna be like, "You're gonna pick up Crow, and they're gonna lead you back to the ship. You got this." And then hopefully he
Roll a persuasion
does
check.
this.
Is that an advantage?
You
Yeah,
want to
'cause
listen
we're
to it?
friends.
How long does friends last?
Listen to it. Listen to it. Don't
Sure.
listen to it. Don't
Persuasion.
deviate.
Persuasion,
Listen.
please. Okay, alright. Please. Okay. 20, not natural.
Okay. Yeah. It just sort of does this like calming.
And then... Can I wild shape as a bonus action? No, I can't. Never mind.
Okay. After Thunky, the wall of flames where it was open on the opposite end of the camp from you guys, as soon as you start to see like creatures start to press in, it explodes back to life and the wall is complete once more, and like the creatures get incinerated and like thrown up and just start like some burning on the inside before they curl up and die. What are you confused about, Hercheck? Okay. Next up is Var'Kir and then Hercheck.
So I guess I'm climbing up onto this Unagoth, and it's flying towards Crow right now.
Is that what you said? It was? Yeah.
So
It's
do I
just
have
gonna
to
be you and Crow.
Do I have to just wait for it to reach Crow?
She effectively gave you the commands of the Unagoth.
How far can this thing move?
But the Unagoth's turn already happened, so it can't move right now.
Oh, so you're just on it for now. You could heal.
Again, I will say that it can like use its dash action on your turn to then use the 60 feet, but it can't do anything else.
So how far away is Crow from?
Thirty-five.
40 feet. Oh, that's like 35 to 40 feet. Okay, so are you still in bad shape? Do I see you like your arm hanging off or something? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have one arm. I'm not doing too much.
So I guess as a bonus action, I'm going to, as I'm flying towards Crow, I am going to use Healing Word on him. Wait a minute, what the fuck? Yeah, it should be. There we go, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use Healing Word on as a third level spell on him. His range is 60 feet. As I slowly fly towards him, he's going to gain 3d4 plus 4 hit points as I basically shoot this ray of healing light at him as I pick him up.
Does
Okay.
that affect the Unagoth too?
No, it only
Oh.
affects one person.
44?
Heal the Unagoth. Let's get on.
4d4 plus 4.
These are
that's my
sickles
bonus-
to
bonus action.
reflect it back at the Unagoth.
So it's 4 healing sickles. 8.
Starts flying up immediately.
9, 10. So you get 14 points healing back.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Feel so much better.
Can somebody
I
move
guess-
the figures to be accurate?
Wait, no, thank you.
Var'Kir.
I was wondering if you said Thunky or not.
I still have.
Thank you.
How far is Hercheck from me?
Hercheck is 30, 40 feet.
30, 40 feet. Uh,
40 feet exactly.
Dang, alright, never mind. I'm gonna cast. Can I use it as instead of it says that the spell is a bonus action? Can I use it as an action instead?
Sure.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on Hercheck as a action. He gets a +2 bonus to AC. A shimmering field of light like descends upon him.
How long does that last?
10 minutes.
Okay, Hercheck, you're up.
I barrel into the tent.
No!
Nobody told you what. Crow didn't tell you anything that was going on in the
I
tent.
saw a guard go in there.
Ah, true. Okay. Okay. You will have to use one of your attacks, unless you're just pressing forward. Then you'll roll a strength check to see if you're just like how much of this tent you're ripping off.
Do that.
Okay. Roll a strength check.
+2 to your AC right now, so.
Natural 19.
Why was that an advantage? Oh, strength. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you sort of like turn around, you also hear some mutterings behind you. You just like, almost like with your action spin, your sword cuts a little bit of the fabric and you just press in. Your head presses through, ripping the rest of the fabric as it presses across your shoulders. And you... The scene that you've come across...
Here's Hercheck.
Do I knock over some scientific tables or
That's
something?
a pretty nice chest.
You actually press through barrels. I'm sorry, these containers holding the. I'm sorry. Yes, containers holding like with tubes coming out of them, leading to these two square like glass rooms inside of this tent. In front of you, you see two individuals currently like one is grabbing the other and talking to them. Honestly, the person grabbing them looks a little bit more slight. Is like a balding individual with glasses and like this very sort of like copper buttons lining down this black, almost like doctor's outfit with an apron on, and the like more mage individual is being almost like scalded by this person as both of them freeze in their tracks. Right here. They're right next to a table with a bunch of different vials and tubes and things on them. And the glass containers that you see, one is completely empty, but sort of like fog is pouring out of it. You can see small shapes on the ground that you can't quite make out. But the glass is broken on the opposite side, and there's a mess leading out of the tent. In the other glass box is all fog. It's just all fog that you can't see through. And as you break in, they're stunned in silence. What are you doing?
There's just two in front of me, and then
Yeah.
a bunch of tubes. Like,
Don't do anything crazy! This is important work here!
I attack him.
Okay. You're attacking the balding, more scientific-looking man.
15 plus 9.
Ultimate power!
Yeah, ultimate, yeah. And they both have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
You don't want to die.
Ironically, the doctor makes it, and the mage does not.
Okay. 18 natural for the second attack.
You're attacking the same guy or both of them?
I'm gonna attack both of them.
Okay. Separate him. His hand releases as his midsection is bisected. How much damage did you do?
For the first one was 10 points. So 6 slashing, 4 radiant.
Just what? How do you roll that slow? You still have strength.
Oh yeah, wow. I have not been adding strength this whole time.
Okay, well, you've still been killing things.
11, 12, 13. 13 slashing, 4 radiant.
Okay. His body slides, head hits the container, the glass container with the fog in it, and he's just explodes blood out of his mouth as he's just barely sucking in breath. You do successfully attack the mage.
That's 11 slashing, 1 radiant.
Okay. He's as in his like shocked state, he throws up his hand really quickly. Roll again. This is at you attacking at disadvantage as he just like flashes dark images in your mind.
Oof. 19 for the disadvantage. The other one was a natural 20.
Wasn't expecting that. And you get him still. Roll for damage.
$14 slashing, 8 radiant.
Okay. All right. And you, you just one, the other. Doctor flies into the glass. The mage is just sort of like sitting there trying to like looking as defiant as he possibly can towards you, but also just like holding back fear. That's your turn. What do you?
That's it. That was action, movement. I have a bonus action, but oh no, the bonus action gets taken up for the lightning. Oh yeah, they didn't roll lightning. 4 points of lightning.
The breaths that were
doubled
being
if they're wearing copper.
The mage is the guy is he has buttons. I'm not gonna count the buttons.
No, we'll count the buttons.
1 point of damage for every button he has.
Yeah, double the points. Triple.
He is unconscious now. The doctor is. He's as the lightning he slams into the glass and the lightning quickly follows. The mage goes down to one knee, and it's nope. Yeah, he's unconscious. Okay, so next up is the Unigath.
They're both unconscious.
No, not the mage. The doctor is
ha!
unconscious. It's not the mage's turn right now. Unigath's up. You're controlling it.
Oh, I'm controlling it. Oh, okay. I guess I would like to try and fly it over to the tent that Hercheck's in.
We're trying
Follow
to
the
leave.
plan.
What was
You
the plan?
didn't follow the plan.
I didn't hear the plan. I wasn't next to you guys.
I don't know what the plan is.
I said we should get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get out of here when people are still in places, so it's like...
But the Unigath can only carry 2 people, so that's like one ride. That's like one Uber lift. Gotta get out.
I guess I'll go. As I fly past the tent, I don't have any... Can I use Sacred Flame on the tent to just...
You're trying to burn Hercheck alive?
Good
Maybe
riddance.
the
Let's
blast
get
will
the
like.
fuck and scream. Let's get the fuck out of here! As I burn a piece of the tent and fly towards Hollis' eye.
Okay, how does Sacred Flame manifest that it isn't obviously just a flaming attack on a flame?
Flame-like radiance descends on a creature. This is a creature. I guess you must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage.
I mean, a tent's, how narrow-minded of you to think a tent isn't a creature.
It's 2019.
Yeah. As I'm casting this spell on the universe, I just want to like scream like Hercheck, let's go. Okay.
Do I hear it?
I mean, I think, what's your passive perception?
13.
I think you'd hear it. He's not like he's yelling down at you.
Let's go. And I want to like just to have the flame go from like the back of the tent slowly towards the front of the tent, like, hey, you're here. The flame's here. It's pushing
You
you this
look
way.
out into this
Leave.
burning hole that's getting ever larger. You see Var'Kir just pass on a Nunagoth.
Let's go.
Leaving me.
Let's go.
I'm abandoned.
Come on.
I'm abandoned.
Would the
You thought it was
blast
you.
like throw him out of the tent from a fire?
No.
Oh, fire.
Whoa!
Right into the wall of fire. Just fire! Fire!
Yeah, I was hoping it would.
Okay, Var'Kir. Or the Unagoth's turn, and now I guess, well, fuck it. And Var'Kir's turn is done. Well,
You still have 2+2 AC, so.
Well, hey.
a lot of threats going on.
Yeah, just bowl through everybody.
I am the threat.
Run.
I'm the
through.
one who threatens.
If they try and swipe at you, you have AC. Go.
Okay, and next up is Crow, in the clutches of the Unagoth.
So you can throw a rope down,
What do you mean?
and then it'll burn up in the fire. But
You are heading towards Hollis' eye. Unagoths can only carry 2 people.
yeah, I know.
You have
Crow,
2 people.
I have Crow with me, so that's what I'm saying. You could throw a rope, and maybe you could look at it to see that we're leaving.
Where's the height thing?
And perhaps the Unagoth is just that a little more robust
And they all die.
It was a good effort.
as we crash to our deaths.
It's front heavy.
Every time I see this, I think of the pill from Princess Bride.
Rename it the pill.
Pill Hollis' eye.
Paul's
Paul's eye.
We don't need to spend a lot of time making sure they all fit on there.
It's important.
That's not gonna work.
I'd be riding
There you go.
between his tail and his feet.
At the actually, I'd say at the height that you're at, you're still below the height of the wall. Yeah, Crow, you're up, and then Funky after Crow.
I'm gonna try to position myself backwards, like riding reverse cowgirl.
Yeah, that's
Not a great episode.
That doesn't even make sense.
3 bleep per episode.
Whatever.
to try and prepare to deflect any incoming ballista attacks. Probably likely ballista attacks.
Okay.
Riding reverse cowgirl to avoid ballista attacks. Yeah.
Well, no, I have deflect missile, but I imagine I have to be able to see it coming in.
No, it's just the whole wording of the situation.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Anyway.
You know what I mean.
Okay,
Yeah.
holding an action. Thunky, you're up.
Alright, I'm wild shaping into an Unagoth, which that takes up my action, right?
Yeah.
Then-
bonus action. Bonus action to pick something or someone up if you roll a higher enough strength check.
I would like to try and do that.
Okay.
I would like to try and swoop and pick up Hercheck. Like, fly in and be like...
The tent is
Into the
burnt.
tent?
The tent is burnt.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
burnt.
burning.
I got just I
Isn't
got
he
a plan.
like
I got a
at the
plan.
edge? You have a plan to get back.
No. But I have a plan.
You
You
have-
just hover over the tent.
To hover over the tent.
Yeah. Got
All
it.
right.
I think I know
I'm gonna
what this
see
plan
the
is going to
tent
be.
that. Okay, then fine. I'm an Unagoth.
God
now,
damn it,
All
Remy.
evidence lost.
And I'm hovering above the tent, looking at it on fire, thinking like, how the hell am I gonna get Hercheck out of here? And then I'm just like, hopefully there's something that happens. And then
Just like waiting behind to see how Hercheck is faring.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, the mage starts to breathe very heavily, and he's like looking around, darting his eyes, and he says, "May Pyroth take your soul!" And as he says this, like his eyes start to glow and his teeth start to glow red as like a fire is like spawning inside of him, trying to get out. You remember another mage doing this in your first encounter as he rushes towards you and tries to grapple you, and you feel yourself get heated up immensely. And roll a...
Has it been an hour since we started?
No, it's only been like 45 seconds or so. I don't know, like 36 seconds or something like that.
Did I like?
we're so effective.
Oh wait, yeah, you did cast Freedom of Movement on me. He cast that right before we went into the camp because that creature attacked us.
Okay, does it last an hour?
Yeah, I think it lasts an hour.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you still have freedom of movement, so you are not grappled by him, but so make a dexterity saving throw.
19.
You only take half of 9, 12, 16, 21, 24. Is your health that big? 30, 35, 37, 39, 42 points of fire damage.
Is it halved?
No, it's not.
We're still Gucci.
Oh, wow.
We're still Gucci.
Yeah, and like lines start to crack across his flesh, and as it gets pressed out and just the entire tent, you see like the fabric of it gets pushed up before small burning holes start to appear and like burn out across it. And you look down and you just see Hercheck sort of like flames curling off of him and his sword.
The smell of burning flesh. and
Yeah.
fire.
I don't smell it though. It's fine.
Yeah.
I know his hairs are burnt.
Var'Kir's turn is done. Hercheck, you are now up.
So Thungy's above me?
Yes.
Cool. I grab the scientist. Let's go! 2 people. Grab that ball guy.
Do you jump up or?
Yeah, is that your plan?
Yep.
That was your plan.
That was my
I'm
plan.
guessing his plan was to do...
get up and hover above the tent.
Like, beat me up!
Oh my god.
Scotty!
Grab me!
Beam me up. Okay. Alright.
How much health do you have?
7.
I know to do it.
Yeah.
Plus 2 though.
Thank God.
Plus 2 AC.
Hold on. I just want... So, like, again, this is really funny this happened. I didn't count this one because it was out of my view. It is a 6.
1.
You're still there.
Thank God for that healing potion.
I gave you 2 health. 2
I gave
AC.
you 2.
I gave you 2 AC. The Laga did that on the dexterity saving throw.
He also cast freedom of movement on you, which meant...
Even though I asked you to heal me prior to. It's cool.
Oh, wait. I am so sorry. Yes, it is half damage. I'm sorry. I was not thinking of...
Yeah, that's why I asked.
My,
I was like,
my
that
apologies.
42
It is
is
definitely half damage.
Oh,
So it's
then-
48 halved to 24.
Okay, then I way more.
I was like...
I think my healing's good now, huh?
man, they're just...
It wasn't good, Rum. You didn't heal me for shit.
Yeah, you are good. Sorry about that.
With that +2 AC, eh?
Yeah, that plus 2 AC.
With that dexterity check.
Okay.
And you guys see the light of the... As you guys are now all exiting and leaving on the backs of Unagoths or Unagoths yourself, you like almost feel the nipping of creatures at the heels of the Unagoth as they're just like pressing and piling up against the flames. Yeah, that's you're just sort of like leaving this scene as who knows what's going to happen over the next time frame.
Are we out of combat?
I would say you're never technically out of combat in the floating forest, as there are creatures everywhere, but the combat of the camp itself is over.
Alright, so can I send a message like, hey, Quenzel, come get us. We are at these coordinates. That's 25 words, I guess.
You're heading towards him.
I don't know, but can he see us through the fog? Since we don't have any like identifying markers, I guess.
I mean, the Unagoth
There's
maybe?
been
I
a
don't
recent
know.
development. You might want to come here instead.
Oh boy.
Guys, Quenzel has a problem, he says, at the ship, so we're not out of trouble just yet. Let's...
Alright. Well, since we're out of this combat, I'm picking Hercheck and the scientist up.
Okay.
And then I would like to make our way to Nahal Sazan.
Okay, yeah, you guys are sort of Unagoths in tow. I'm sorry, I thought you had already done that, but yeah, you guys are behind each other. You flashing the creatures below?
Sword. It's like, ah!
Rum, he's
Look at
ready
this!
to do
Ah!
something again.
Prepare yourselves.
In that, well, we could spend the next, maybe it would take a minute or two to get back to the ship, but we'll end before you reach the ship. What are you gonna say, Crow?
I just saying, you might want to just heal us before we get there. So
I can't do that. I'm an Unagoth.
Oh, right.
You've got a death cleric.
So,
Yeah, super good at
could we
healing.
take 10 minutes to get to the ship?
Can we take 10 minutes to get to the ship?
Yeah, because that's how long it takes for this healing
Take
to work.
like a quick
Like, hey
Aladdin
guys,
ride.
10 minutes to get to the ship. Let's just take our time.
Are
Be
you
nice and
waiting
easy.
for us?
Oh,
No, you're heading there.
Okay, so I will pause the
You'll get
Unagoth. Can I pause my Unagoth and be like, hey, everybody gather around and
Pause.
start casting a spell and waiting for them to get within like the proper distance as they come towards me? And just
Sure,
like,
man. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. If that's too like meta, then yeah, you can just get rid of that.
I would say like it's honestly up to you to decide how Quenzel didn't sound like he was like in immediate danger. It was just like there's something that something happened and we need you guys back.
I guess on our way to the ship, it's probably gonna take a little while to get to the ship. I'm gonna be casting this spell or trying to like say the words, like do the somatic signs or whatever, and then as we land on the ship on Nahalis' eye, and everybody else lands behind me, I'm gonna just cast it like healing spell, but it takes 10 minutes to cast it. So
Okay, so you'll just be sort of like focused on that as you go.
yeah, just like.
Okay. What awaits you back on Nahalis' eye, parked behind the closest Unagoth tree? We will find out next time on Assassins and Dragons. Thank you for joining us, Assassins, as always, until fate next brings us together. And never stop playing role-playing games.
I'm serious.
夜明け生まれ来るものよ決して見失わないで You are you 少女よ今こそ